All right, everybody. This is the Somatoform presentation. My name is Marisa Wilson.
I'm Lynn Zenick.
I'm Alison, Mulvey.
Meredith. And Mazzulo.
And we're going to start off with a very brief introduction because I know a lot of people didn't pick somatoforms because they didn't know what it was. So somatoform disorders are basically any mental disorder in which physical symptoms are inextricably linked to the psychological patterns. So we're going to start with a really brief video about kind of the mind-body connection in general and some of the recent science and research that's out about it.
Presentation of UCTV for educational and non-commercial use only.
What has changed is that we now know the underlying science that links the brain and its mind with its digestive functions.
Great.
I'm moving it forward like a second, see if it reads. No.
Yeah, it's going to open probably. Refresh it. Maybe restart. Okay, well, we can escape it now. Come back here. So in lieu of the video, just to go over a little more broadly over what are somatoform disorders, Meredith is going to introduce the subject. Yes.
Thanks, Marisa. Sorry about the video, guys. I think that we all know as practitioners and from our experience with clients, the mind is connected to our body. Basically, if that was a scientist, was going to tell you about that in a little more depth. So the common feature of somatoform disorder is that there's a presence of physical symptoms. It's chronic, reoccurring clinical symptoms that just cause distress or physical impairment in different areas of our life, social, occupational, and for it to be clinically significant, it means that you're taking medicine for it, or you're going to doctors. It's getting in the way of your life. Maybe you're missing work, or it's getting in the way of your relationships. It's time-consuming. The pain might become the focus of your life. It's all you talk about. It's all you think about. It's not explained by a medical condition. So some people that have somatoform disorder might have a general medical condition, but their symptoms that they're experiencing are far beyond what would be explained by their medical condition. So they're way worse than what would be experienced by someone else that has the same medical condition. It's also not caused by the direct effects of a substance, and it's not caused by another disorder. So for example, if you have panic disorder, you might have chest pains, but that's not what a somatoform disorder is. And it's also different than fictitious or malingering disorders, which is when a client or a person is having voluntary control of their symptoms. They're making up their symptoms for some secondary purpose. Like an example, if you ever faked a sick day in high school, maybe I did this a few times. You say you have a stomach ache and you're doing it for a purpose. This is not what someone with a somatoform disorder is doing. They're not having voluntary control. They're not saying, oh, all of a sudden I have a headache. So it's not something that they're in control of. So now we're going to go over the different types of somatoform disorder. The first one is somatization disorder. It used to be called Burkitt syndrome or hysteria. I'm glad they don't call it hysteria anymore because it's not very strength-based, but I can imagine that they used to call it that because someone that would be experiencing this might be hysterical because it is pain. You have pain pretty much all over your body. To meet criteria for this, you have to have pain in polysymptomatic. So you have pain pretty much in different areas of your body. You need to have it before you're age 30. It lasts for several years. You need to have a combination of pain in at least 4 areas of your body. So like your head has to hurt, your back has to hurt, your leg has to hurt. You need to have at least 2 gastrointestinal symptoms, so like nausea, vomiting. You need to have at least 1 sexual symptom, which could be like for men erectile dysfunction, or for women it could be sexual indifference. You need to also have 1 pseudo-neurological symptom. I was having trouble with that word. So that means like you need to have balance problems, you could have blindness, deafness, coordination problems. So that one, somatization is like your whole body is affected with these pain symptoms. The next one is undifferentiated somatoform disorder. That's you have unexplained physical complaints. It lasts at least 6 months, but it's below the threshold for somatization disorder, the one that I just explained. So you might not have pain in as many areas, but you're having these physical complaints. Conversion disorder is that you have unexplained physical symptoms that are affecting your voluntary or motor or sensory functions. So that would be things like your movement or your coordination or your senses, like seeing or hearing. You go deaf for no reason, you can't explain, or you can't see. Your vision, double vision or blurry vision. And then pain disorder, which is going to be our focus for today, which our client is diagnosed with. That is, pain is the primary focus of clinical attention. It's not caused by a general medical condition, and psychological factors are related to the onset, the severity, or the exacerbation or the maintenance of the pain. Then hypochondriasis, another tricky word.
You're doing great, Meredith.
You guys have probably heard of this called a hypochondriac, but we wouldn't want to say that. We want to say a person with hypochondriasis. So this would be a person who is preoccupied with the fear that they have some serious physical illness. And it's based on they're misinterpreting something that their body is presenting to them. So an example would be if they have like an occasional cough, which might just be because they have a tickle in their throat, they would become obsessed with figuring out what this cough meant and believe that it must mean they have some rare disease. They would, WebMD it, find some rare disease, go to from doctor to doctor, and they're not satisfied when they're told that they're healthy, and it becomes all they talk about, all they think about. So it can really take over their life. The next one, body dysmorphic disorder, is the preoccupation with an imagined or exaggerated deficit in physical appearance. And it can be a vague idea that a specific part of your body is ugly. There's a general, like my arms are too big, or my arms are too fat or too small. Or it can be specific, my eyes are too narrow or my eyes are too wide. And it takes over a person's life. They can go through this like wave of between constantly checking on the flaw, or constantly like trying to avoid the flaw, and they can spend all their money and time trying to fix the flaw with products and surgeries. So I read something about people that are just getting like hundreds and hundreds of different types of plastic surgeries, trying to correct these perceived flaws that they have about their physical body. And then somatoform disorder, NOS, is just that you have some physical symptoms, but you don't meet the criteria for any specific somatoform disorder. So the descriptive features for somatoform disorders, someone that has this type of disorder might be able to describe their symptoms in colorful, exaggerated terms, but lacking specific information about what their actual symptoms are, or be inconsistent disorients. But the pain is a daily interruption of their life. They're always looking for a cure for their pain. They're spending their time and their money going from doctor to doctor. It can lead to severe depression if their pain is lasting years and years.